Hello, everyone. My name is Elai, and welcome to the Guided Expressions podcast. And as usual, I have here with me Abiodun Idowu.
Hi, popularly known as Abi.
Yes. I want to start to put all the tantalizing physics. Abi, the presenter.
Abi, it have to. Let's continue.
Okay, we should not go there. Okay, so she's trying to hide right now, but she can't. Don't worry. All right. So today we are going to be talking about challenging both positive and negative thoughts in a way that helps us balance, gives us a good balanced mindset. That's what we're going to be talking about. But before we go into it proper, I just want us to talk a bit about what we've been doing in the past few months and just a bit of reflection on how everything has been. So
we also want to thank people for tuning in and listening. So for every single person who has been looking at our podcast, we thank you for your comments. We thank you for, the positivity you have brought to us. We thank you for the feedback, and please keep watching, keep telling more people about us, about what we are doing, because this is not a puff piece kind of thing. This is something that actually has impact. So thank you so much for that.
Okay, thank you guys for watching. Thank you. I was going to get to that actually. So thank you so much for watching. And I think the first episode we got a lot of responses.
Oh yes.
And your comments, they've been really, really encouraging. We want you guys to keep it up. We also want you to give us suggestion. What are the things you feel like we should talk about? If you have any idea what you feel like we should go in depth, because majorly we're going to be talking about the themes of the workshop. But I know that whatever idea you have or anything you feel like you want us to talk about is going to be connected to the state of mind, or is going to be connected to the second theme, which is the spirit, soul, and body.
Yes.
So bring it on, guys. Let us know what you want us to talk about on subsequent episodes. We'll be glad to go in depth into them. All right. So Habi, do you have things you want to share with us about your plans and goals? Just a bit of reflection for the past few months.
Well, I mean, for me, I think we're having this conversation as we're coming here. I don't really look at time in a linear way the way everyone does. For me, 31st of December is not 31st of December, the end of 1 year. We're going. It is just another day. So that way I don't capture myself into a time frame of, I have to get this done by this time. I mean, of course, you still have like a loose guide around but I don't say, by this time this year I must do, because one thing I have learned about life, they say we make plans and God laughs. You make all your plans and everything turns around. I was telling you, when I was 25, I had my 5-year plan. By the time I'm 30, I'm going to be heading a department in the NTA. I'm going to be married with kids. I'm going to be traveling around the world. Not one of them happened by the time I was 30. By the time I was 30, I was in the UK. I was not in Nigeria anymore. I was engaged to a totally different person. Everything changed.
Yeah.
So that's part of the reason why I don't do linear timing. But when I look at the things that I wanted to sort of achieve in my life, and I'm looking at, okay, where have I been so far? I mean, my health issues, that I'm actually able to do this podcast with you, and find the time and the energy to do it. That already is a big win in my book. That I'm able to impact people. I do a lot more of Instagram now, unlike before, where doing Instagram felt like death, like, oh God, no, I don't want to do it. But I'm doing more now. I'm actually dancing, which was something that I couldn't do. And you think, dancing, but when your health is
Yeah.
bad, you can't, you know. So those, they are little joys, I call them, they're my small wins, my little joys, but I'm grateful for them. It's better than not having anything at all.
Yeah.
I also discovered my capacity to love, in the realm of being like a parent, because I had lost hope with that, and I thought, maybe, I don't have the capability. But I found that ability, that, oh, actually I do have the capability to
To
be
lead.
a loving parent form, that kind
Yeah.
of thing. So yeah, I'm doing a lot more volunteering than I thought I could do. I'm getting involved in projects. I was on stage in London. I've been in a movie that has won, I think, 5 awards. We were nominated for
Wow.
8. We not won 5.
5.
Hopefully, we're going on Netflix very
Wow.
soon. So we're on Amazon Prime. We're going on Netflix, and I'm hoping to be involved in more, films. I've done commercials for Tesco. So when I look at even the things I did not dream that I could do,
Yeah.
I've done them, and I'm not stopping and going, "Oh, I've done it." Yes, I'm just gonna keep taking every brand new day that I get and trying to make the best out of it and make it work. And the days that it doesn't work, it is fine.
Yeah.
We look at it, we thank it for its purpose, and we send it on its way.
Yeah. Thank you, Abby. So there's so much joy in living this way, being able to recognize that the importance of moving from one step to the other and not trying to like jump the broom without plans.
Yeah.
Even though if the things you plan to achieve, the things you set aside to achieve for yourself, even though the outcome eventually doesn't come in a linear way, like
Yeah.
I achieved this and in a few months I achieved this. If you look at it like Abby just said, at the end of the day, you notice that you've even achieved much more than you planned.
Exactly.
And most of the things you achieve might not be in the plan.
Exactly.
The beautiful part is those things that you actually planned, some of them, even though you didn't achieve them, trying them out were like stepping
Oh,
stones to
yes.
the ones you achieved.
Yes.
So it's really beautiful. And this is what I love about reflection. Fine, I understand there is a part of reflection where people try to like do a lot of things, and when they try to reflect on them, they discover that, oh, I was unable to achieve this and I was unable to achieve that. Yet they're still unable to go back to make corrections and achieve those things. But then that's another phase entirely.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
something that people really need to work on. But let's go to the beautiful part of it. Reflection is, it's a very good way to grow, and I'm grateful to God that you're here, Abby.
I'm grateful to God too. I think, is that culture of looking at your environment and judging yourself by the standards that you think you should be on. We have this saying, a fool at 40 is a fool forever. And usually is if you have not achieved anything that your mates are achieving at 40, then you must be a fool. But that's not true. Because again, as Yoruba say, we can't look at each other's clocks
Yeah.
and say, I must work by your time. We weren't born the same time. So why would I be working at the same, pace as you? Even the person that, okay, in separate hospitals or even in the same hospital, they gave birth to us the same time,
Yeah.
the same day. Our journeys are still different. So it's crazy to be like, my mates are married. All my friends, every single one of my friends are married. They are all married. And so, praise God for them.
Yeah. Go back
I'm
on
not
your
married.
path.
Praise God for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
it is they're not, when we all eventually kick the bucket and check out, they won't be like, okay, oh, married people, oh, yeah, stand on this queue. You a sinful single person that refused to marry, stand here. You will do 1 year in hell before they allow you in heaven. It doesn't work like
It doesn't.
that.
It doesn't.
You know?
Yeah, it
So
doesn't.
it is not a criteria for life. It is not. And while I'm on that, I want to ask you, what's your reflection?
Okay, thank you.
I put her on the spot.
I'm going to talk a bit personally and a bit about what Ayoba is doing,
Yeah.
reflecting on what Ayoba is doing. So personally, the past few months has been growth worthy for me. When I say growth, it doesn't mean that I've achieved something gigantic and all that, but I feel like I've learned a lot. And when I look back, I feel like, oh, those things that I used to think were the right things to do at the time, but now I know better. That for me is growth. Because of those changes, the things I know now, I can make better choices.
Oh, yes.
I can decide on things with, thinking about the positive side and the negative side, like what we're about to talk about. It's a very it's a growth thing for me, right? And going to what Ayoba is doing, we've been able to establish the workshop. Right now, the workshop is running twice in a year, which when we started, it was just a plan. It wasn't looking like it was going to happen, but now we are able to like say, oh, we can have the workshop like twice in a year in Manchester, and we have plans to take it to other cities in the UK. So reflecting also make me understand that even as much as we've achieved a lot, it also shows that there's a lot of people looking at us, expecting more from us. So we have to keep at it. This is not the time to sit back and just relax on a lot of things that we want to do. We need to keep going. We need to keep, try to improve. That doesn't negate the fact that we there's some places or some things we need to do better, we need to get better at, but yet we know that there's a process and we are growing. And and we are happy that you guys are here with us. We are not doing this alone.
Oh, yeah.
And for everyone that has attended the workshop, subscribe to our channel, following us on social media. We appreciate you guys. And this is also a part where we want you to also reflect on the past few months for yourself. You could do this reflection like talking to someone like
Yeah.
myself and Abby, or you could do a reflection using your journal, just write things, for some people, the things you write down,
Yeah.
they make more sense than when you just keep them in your head.
Yeah, when you can actually focus your thoughts and actually say, hey, this is my thought process.
Yeah.
It's written down. I do believe in journals. I actually created a journal that I was hoping to actually put out into the world. And I mean, people have shown that prototype. They're like, wow, this is because
really nice.
it asks the questions that maybe those general journals don't. They ask you deep questions like, what was your childhood dream? Why didn't you achieve it? Is this something that you've outgrown or something you still think you can do? And questions like that.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
bring
so
out a lot of reasoning and put truths to the table.
yeah.
Okay, I'll be good reflection. All right, let's get back to what we are discussing today.
Yeah.
I'm going to read out something that I wrote down concerning this, and I'll just read it out and let Abby flow. Abby has a lot of Okay, I'm just going to do the reading and Abby is going to do a lot more. All right. Okay, so it says that because of the nature of the world we are in. All right, let me talk about the topic again is challenging both positive and negative thoughts in order to get ourselves a stable mindset. All right, so because of the nature of the world we are in, there is a limit to how much or how far we can control the things especially media, right? We are exposed to. There's a limit to it. So it is more logical to make efforts to put a guard to what your soul consumes. That's the part you can control.
Oh yeah.
What you have access to, what is facing you, you really cannot control. You cannot be going on the street and decide to cover your face. You fall. So everything is to your face, right? You cannot control that. But then you can control what comes to your soul.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So it says this refers to things, ideas, opinions, knowledge, everything that we pick up around from the environment, both consciously and unconsciously. There's actually a lot we pick up unconsciously. So this we have limited control over. But what we have 100% control over is the ability to assess and explore the thoughts, both positive and negative, that eventually gains access to our mind. All right. Notice that I didn't say to your soul, that gains access to your mind. And this is because at this point, whatever thought gains access to your soul does so because you have allowed it or you have made the conscious choice to let it in. So here is the strategy. It's a strategy of catching them young, right? Before the thought takes root and establishes itself in your heart and begins to bear fruit, you analyze it in your mind and decide if it is worth keeping or deserves discarding.
Yep.
All right. So these are the decisions we make daily. All right. So, Habi, what do you think about thoughts or the media?
Basically what you've said.
Yeah. What do you think about it?
I mean, this is the fastest way. I'm speaking to everyone. This is the fastest way to connect with what you've just said.
Okay.
COVID-19 happened to all of us. And if you all sit down now and think about your mindset during COVID, for some people it was fine. People like me, it was fine because already I was used to living without seeing people because I was living quite a very sheltered, lonely, alone
Yeah.
existence.
So it was different for
So
everybody.
it was okay for me. It didn't affect me in any way. I mean, okay, I could go out whenever I wanted before COVID happened, but okay, I couldn't go out because I was basically under house arrest for some months. But that was the only difference. But for some people, they thought they were going crazy. And part of the reason why they were going crazy was they were watching all the news. And was there anything good coming on the news? Every day was, oh, several thousands have died, several hundreds have died today, and this one have died. It was just death list after death list after death list. So people were faced with their mortality constantly. And there's only so much because there's something biological that happens to you when you face a fear. It's either flight or fight. So some chemicals get released in your body, your blood starts to, pump, your heart pumps blood faster, your brain is working faster, all of that. But you can only sustain that position for a short period of time. But when you're constantly in it and your brain can't seem to shut up, at a point in time you will go under high stress. And what happened after COVID? After COVID tapered off, people just started dropping dead. You just say, oh, this young person just died. This person just died. Can you remember? It was like people were just dropping dead because they had been under constant high stress for a couple of years. There's only so much the body can take. One thing I did during COVID-19 was I did not watch one news report, not one. Because I already knew what was on it. Because everybody that was talking to on the phone, we were all talking about, they said Kiniko died, and 15,000 died, 10,000. So I'm already hearing the news safe without me. So why will I now go and put on extra, TV to be hearing bad news? So I removed myself from that
And
environment
that you did consciously.
consciously. And that's the thing, it has to be a conscious thing what you let in. Because if you, and you know, some of us, we call this thing where you just like, oh, you have the TV on and it's mindless. But then you might start remembering a song that played. And you start asking yourself, where did I hear this? Where did I hear this song? Oh no. In your mind, you
Yeah.
thought, oh, it's mindless. I'm doing something else, the TV is on. Like when my little one is watching all the Gracie's Corner and everything, now I know every single song. And I've never actually sat down with her to watch an episode. But because I'm doing something else, she's watching it. Next thing I'm singing, do not be a bully. I'm going, how did I learn that one? you know?
Right.
So even though it's mindless, it's sipping in, it's sitting in.
Yeah.
And that is me not consciously doing it. So you can imagine when you're conscious about what it is you put into yourself. So you're conscious about the food you eat, which a lot of us started doing with COVID because we realized you're conscious about the relationships you keep. A lot of divorces happened during COVID because people then realized that, wait a minute, I did not realize this marriage was bad because I was always going to work and I only spent the weekend with this person. But now I've been living with this person for the past how many months, day in, day out, and I actually realize you suck.
Right.
So a lot of things, a lot of change happened. But do we need for a pandemic to happen before we sit down, reevaluate, revise? Do we have to wait for a pandemic? No. It's not good for you physically, biologically, but it's also not good for you mentally. It's best that you take time. And as I said, if you don't look at time as a linear thing that by 31st of December, before I go to church, I'll start praying in the new year I must have done this. But instead you go, okay, by this period of time, I'm hoping to have achieved some stuff, and just work my way around, towards it and around it, and not be like this date. Just be like, okay, maybe let's look at 3 months. So 3 months can be any date in
Yeah.
3 months, And when I do my mentoring program with people, I always say to them, first of all, if you have any calendars that you've put and you take them out, they're a distraction. Instead, let's look at time in a different way. Let's look at, okay, this thing that you're thinking you want to do, what is the time you think you need? So you're not looking at, by 25th of November, I should have done it. Instead, you're going 3-4 weeks, you're giving yourself grace. Like I said the other time, the thing that we refuse to give ourselves most of the time is grace. And yet, grace is the thing we need the most.
Yeah.
We need grace for ourselves. We need grace for each other. And once we start to operate like that, that pressure, that pressure to perform to expectation is taken off. You actually start to enjoy life. Do you know how many people are successful and yet life sucks for them? There is no enjoyment of life because everything that they are doing is about a timetable that's not really even about themselves.
Yeah.
It's about, so that I hit that mark within this culture or within this group or within this thing. And ask them, so, what enjoyable thing did you do? And they're looking at you like, what's that? And people emulate them. They write books about it, like, 24 laws of kinikon and all of that stuff. But okay, after all of that, is that all your life is about? When did you, and that's why you see some of them, when they now grow older, they're not like, I have nobody. Because all the people that mattered, that they could have spent time and effort and just enjoyed moments with. They were too busy chasing some standard or objective or um,
Goals.
goal that they abandoned them. By the time they now realize that they need them, those people too have now moved on.
Done.
They too are now saying, oh, we've got goals, we've got this that we've got to do.
Yeah.
We don't have time.
Right.
People don't even understand that time is such a limited currency. Nobody, I could just go and that's the end right now. Nobody has a monopoly on
Don't go
time.
anywhere.
No, I'm not going to. Yeah, no. Yeah, I'm going to be here 120. But at least my grand died at 105. So I will try and do 110. You'll be sick of me, don't worry.
Okay.
I'll be here doing podcast. So, you know.
Okay.
But nobody knows. Sit down and look at our lives. I'm sure if I ask you what what plans did you have before COVID?
Yeah.
And when COVID happened, what happened to those plans? What happened to your mind? What would you say?
COVID for me, funny enough, COVID happened when I was at a point where I was transitioning, like from one stage of my life to the other. So somehow it gave me that time to reflect more and to like analyze what I'm going to be doing and how I'm going to be doing that thing that I'm going to do at the next stage. So COVID for me was a time of bonding with friends, with family as well,
Exactly.
and finding myself and doing a lot of research. So
Exactly.
COVID was I wouldn't say it was good, but I can say it was good.
Yeah. And that's the thing, because a lot of people during COVID realize that, wait a minute, what have I been doing with my life? Because people who have been like, oh yes, we get it to work, we have the 5-year plan, we have the this, then all of that's taken away, and then they don't know who they are. And there are people who suffered a lot of depression,
Yeah.
because they were confused. A lot of online therapy happened during COVID, because people started to look for therapists. Even the therapists were looking for therapists
Yeah.
themselves. And then a lot of relationships changed, because a lot of people then realized that the person that, Monday to Friday, they go to work, they come in the evening, they're too tired, they just communicate, and then weekend, okay, we have weekend, but then we have other things happening. You suddenly realize, after spending 3 months with the same person, day in, day out, you suck. Why am I with you? So a lot of divorces also happened during that period. But also a lot of people realized they were able to focus their mind, because they were like, I wasn't too sure about this person. But when I saw how they were with me and were my rock and my stay during this whole process, then I realized this is the person I want to be with. This is the thing. Many people spend too much time working on plans and goals and all of that, and they ignore relationships.
Okay.
And then by the time they realize that, okay, I've achieved the goals, the aims, there's nothing else that I want to do because I've achieved it. And they want to now start nurturing relationships. The people that they have abandoned, who they did not give time,
Attention.
now don't have that time to give to them. And that's how you find a lot of lonely, wealthy people
Yeah.
who are by themselves. Because the people who were in their nucleus, who sort of stuck around, got tired of waiting. Because what did COVID do to all of us? COVID let us realize that this time is such an expensive, fickle currency.
Right.
It can come and go
At any
like
time.
that. And everybody started thinking, I have spent 15 years of my life just sitting there while you're like, yes, you're buying me all the nice things of life. But beyond that, who are you? Who am I? Do I want to spend another 15 years by your side? You go, you run off, you go and do things, and I'm just sitting here. waiting, pottering away? Or can I be brave and step out into the future and maybe meet somebody who will actually give me what I need?
Yeah.
Abby?
Yeah, true.
Yeah, because I'm sure there are many relationships in your life. Think about it now. When there are some relationships that you had to go, it's not working. It's not you, it's me.
Yeah, I mean, you get to like pick up friends, you get to lose friends. So I believe that people come to your life for different reasons, and understanding when people need to leave or when they need to stay is very important. Everybody, there's season and timing for everything.
Oh, yeah.
People also have time frame in our lives. So being able to understand that at every point in time would help you. And connecting that as well to challenging thoughts in your mind. Imagine you having a friend that you feel like, oh, this person is just not being reasonable to me. This person is not really nice. I don't think this is a good friend. That thought probably came to your mind for some reasons. If you don't reflect on it, if you don't challenge the thoughts, it's going to bear bad fruits where you start thinking ill thoughts about that person. So instead of just letting that thought linger, you could do things like, asking yourself what brought about that thought. Like take for example, if someone is, you feel like someone is being a friend to you and the person is not forthcoming as you've expected,
Yeah.
you could try and think about it like, okay, why is this person my friend in the first place? And where is the source of this thought? Where is it coming from? Probably the person was supposed to buy you something, or the person bought someone else something and
Yeah.
didn't get for you. You are like, oh, she doesn't like me, or he doesn't like me like the other person. That's a thought. So instead of allowing that to linger, you could like walk up to the person or just ask the person that, you can even do it jokingly, that, so Shay, you mean that I'm not as important as this person is, just
Yeah.
talk about it instead of leaving it, allowing it to linger in your mind. So you challenge everything, both positive and negative, so you can flesh it out. You
Is
know
it
why this is
everything though?
happening.
I want to ask you a question. Is it
Okay.
everything that you can go and discuss with? Because
No,
this
no.
thing you just mentioned,
Yeah.
I actually had to go through that with someone who, honestly, for the longest period of our relationship, I was, in my mind, that's my bestest friend ever,
Oh,
right?
okay.
And then some things happened, and I had to. And then some things happened, and I had to, sit down and be like, wait a minute. I'm treating this person like Wagyu beef, like the best piece of meat there is in the market. And this person is treating me like minced meat. And I started looking at the language they used around me. Oh, I was bored, so I called you. I had some time to kill. So I thought to call you. Now, this person, in all fairness, one of the best people when I was going through a bad time, hung around. But even as that person, there were also many other things that were like, really? I carry you this way, and yet, because even something as simple as I'll be like, oh, this was my bestie, and they'll be like, oh, that's my friend. I'm calling you my bestie. You're introducing me to people as your friend. I had to sit down and be like, okay, maybe it's not the way I'm thinking.
Yeah.
And it's not fights.
Yeah, true.
I'm not fighting. I'm not angry. I'm just reevaluating
Yeah.
and going, okay, let's maintain energy. I'm not, we are now on mincemeat level, the two
Okay.
of us.
Okay.
I love you, I adore you, you mean the world to me, but we are both
Let's
mincemeat
be on that
level.
level. Okay.
So that I'm not putting on energy that I can put in something else. Because I can continue along that line of and be upset every
Every
time.
time.
That's why I'm doing this, I'm doing that. At the end of the day, not everybody we love will love us.
Yeah.
Not everybody we like will like us. Some people will just, I'm sure there are people right now who are watching us who will be like, that I'll be safe. What does she think she's rubbish and ingredients? What's she talking? Opening her mouth, wow, just talking
Okay.
like that. At the end of the day, everybody is entitled to their opinion.
True.
Opinions are like waiting.
Yeah.
Yash. Everybody gets one. But will I let my own perspective, my own reaction to life be dictated
By
by
someone's.
exactly or by someone's treatment? If you treat me bad, I will take it, accept it, and use it and rub pomade, as we say back in Nigeria,
Yeah.
and keep it moving. You know?
Yeah. That's a very good way to put it. And for some people, I normally say this, that people are in your life for different reasons. Do you know it's very possible that that same friend is showing someone else 100% level of love
Oh,
and is
yes.
not getting it back?
Oh, yes.
So that's the problem, right? And I think it's also notable to understand that you don't always get love where you're putting love.
Oh, yeah.
It shouldn't be like, it shouldn't be a crime. The fact that I'm showing you so much love, I shouldn't always expect that level of love 100% from you, because we are different people.
Oh,
You know,
yes.
so if it won't be fair on my end, if because I'm showing you love, to be fair, I as a person, I should be able to decide that because I don't want this person to get so caught up with me, I don't want this person to get so attached to me. Even if you love this person from head to toe, you need to manage the way you show that love, because you don't want to put too much pressure. We're talking about
Oh,
them
yeah.
earlier. You don't want to put too much pressure on them. You don't
Yes.
know if they have the capability to give you the equal amount of love you're giving out. So we really need to be careful.
And love isn't a tit for tat. I love you, you love
Yeah,
me.
back.
Although, to be honest, love, as most of us know it now, is transactional.
Yeah.
And when I say transactional, I don't mean constantly in money, but yeah, my paddy. And when you start asking, why are the two of you besties? Why are the two of you best friends? You start to hear things like, oh, they show up for me. Then when I'm sick, they cook for me. We go to cinema together. We have the same taste in music. We do stuff together. There is a give and take.
Yeah.
Even in husband and wife. Why do you love your wife? She takes care of me. She watches out for me. Why do you love your husband? He's a provider. Anytime I need Gucci bag, he will drop money. So
Yeah.
it's transactional. A lot of our relationships are like that. And once you can get into that mind frame that I I'm doing this if I'm loving someone, if I'm loving on someone, it's because I love doing it. I enjoy doing it.
Not
Right?
because I'm getting
Not
something.
because I'm getting something in return. So that way you manage your expectations
Yeah.
about the returns you get.
Yeah.
So which is why I said, when I looked at it and said, Wagyu beef, corn beef here. Okay, I still love this person, but I have been walking in the expectation that I am loved the way I was caught up in that transaction of they love me the way I love them.
Yeah.
But once I realized that, look, if I'm going to love this person, I'm going to love them just because I love them. It
Right.
became easier.
That way. Yeah. It becomes easier that way. And you're
And there's
able
no
to,
resentment.
yeah,
Uh-huh.
you're able to like spread your love, and you can give it to so many people, and so many people can give it to much more
Much more.
people
Yes.
than just centralizing it to one person. So this is a very good way to challenge both negative and positive thoughts, guys. It's a very good way because somehow this happens to every one of us, one way or the other. Probably in family, and your relationship with people, even at work, business relationships, this happens. So when we constantly challenge these thoughts that comes to our mind, because these thoughts, they come not because they're not there just to play. They are there for a reason. So if you don't challenge them, if you allow them linger, they are going to produce fruit, right? And they might be
But what
fruits that
kind?
you don't like
Exactly.
eventually.
What kind of fruit?
Eventually. All right. Thank you very much, Abby, for that. The second part is this that says that there's a phrase that you are what you eat, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's translate it this way that your state of mind is the capital of your life. You know, like what you eat is who you are. Then your state of mind is your life. Because it's going to reflect who you are eventually. It's going to reflect your thought process. So talking about thought process, right? Being able to, the more you challenge both positive and negative thoughts, the more you understand your thought process as a person. And this is what understanding your thought process as a person does to you. If you understand your thought process as a person, it's going to help you, find this balanced state, right? That you're not being pushed here and there by people's opinion, people's thought. You know that you already understand how you think, how your mind goes through. You know that negative energy is not for you. So you know that you should not be wherever there is negative energy. You already understand yourself. There are people that even if there's a negative energy in a room, it doesn't affect them.
No.
They just bounce back. It doesn't affect them in any way. But if you understand that negative energy influences you a lot, then you know who you need to surround yourself with.
Yeah.
You know that this is a place I need to be. This is a place I should remove myself.
Yeah.
So
It's like what I said that time, that know yourself is not an insult.
yeah.
Once you know, like you will see some people that they'll say, look, I don't do well in crowds.
Yeah.
And therefore they do not put themselves in that situation at all. Once you know who you are, what it is you can tolerate, what it is that it is not you, then you can't, nobody can honestly fight you because you are protecting your energy, your peace, your space.
Yeah.
Unless the person just wants to fight you for fighting's sake. But if you've told me, Abby, I don't do well with pressure.
Yeah.
I just like things being easy. And I know that, okay, we are coming to do something that is going to be high pressure. And you're like, okay, I will chip in what I can chip in, but I'm just going to relax over here. And I start to fight you. What that tells you is that I just had you inside my mind and I wanted to fight you.
Prepared, you planned.
I
to fight.
planned you that I wanted to fight you. Not that, oh, you've done something to me. And that's the thing. And I think most of us go through life misunderstanding the other person that we are putting energy and emotion and all of that into. That's why you see honest conversations. Because going back to my friend, maybe if we had sat down and had honest conversations
and understand each other's
and
perspective.
understand each other's perspective. Like, what do you want from me, Gangan? I love a friend that will gist with me. We will talk about what is going on in our lives and that kind of stuff. And then it's like, well, that's all well and good, but I just want someone that when I don't have my main people to talk to, I can call you and I know you will answer. Then at least I know what your expectation is.
You can meet in the middle.
We can meet in the middle.
Yeah.
But we honestly don't have those conversations most of the time. Think about families, especially Nigerian families. Do we sit down and talk about our expectations? We just coast.
Yeah.
And then when the parents die, more often than not, you find siblings, even before the parents die safe, you find the siblings fighting. Because it's not like, should you were always mommy's favorite. No, you were daddy's favorite. And mommy told you everything. And all of that could have been resolved with a family meeting where everybody just lays everything out. And I know some of you are looking at us and going, in which world? Come on, will you talk something realistic? No, but a lot of people are starting to realize that these conversations are necessary.
Yeah.
Am I lying?
No, they are. They are. And it helps a lot because one way or the other, childhood trauma is real.
Oh, yes.
And no matter how little it is, there are levels to childhood trauma, right?
Yeah.
It could be as little as you being the only child your parents wants the best from. Oh, you got a B. You should got an A. You should have gotten an A rather. It sounds simple, but it could influence that child's
Oh, yeah.
future.
The
Right.
people that have A, do they have two heads?
Yeah, something like that. So, I think we are in that era, or probably we've been there for a long time, that we need to challenge childhood trauma.
Oh, yes.
Challenging doesn't mean you just discard it and ignore it. Assess it, go to the depths of that trauma and think about it. If not for yourself, for your children.
Oh, yes.
So you know how to go against it when you're bringing up your children. You know that, oh, this thing actually affected me when I was growing up. I shouldn't do this to my child. So let's not even talk about your child now. Let's talk about you, because
Yeah, because I was just about
your
to
life
say,
is your
you see
life.
that
Your child will
childhood
live your
trauma.
life.
You see that childhood trauma, you have to do it for yourself.
Yeah, for yourself.
God bless the children.
Yeah.
We'll do it for them.
Yeah.
But you have to do it for yourself because, again, that is what I'm talking about. The body's fight or flight response. Because when that trauma is there, it's festering. The body and chemicals are still addressing that trauma. Because when you smell something that takes you back to that trauma, you react badly.
The body remembers.
You hear something, hey,
Yeah.
but you react constantly. Your body is in constant to that trauma, and until you deal with it,
Actively.
you now start saying, "Oh, I have this one," because unfortunately, when the body has dealt with something chemically for so long and is not treated, those same chemicals will not turn and fight against your body physically. And that's when you then start having things like high blood pressure, diabetes. Me, I'm a survivor of childhood trauma. And part of the reason why I'm dealing with the health issues I'm dealing with now is because those traumas were swept under the carpet for a long time. I even almost forgot that it happened. I would just be like, I'm reacting. But I couldn't really why am I reacting this way? So society was even suffering because I wasn't addressing what the problem was.
Yeah.
But the moment it was like somebody hit my head with a frying pan. And everything just, but the moment I started to work it out one by
One
one,
after the other.
peace in its truest form started to come in. It was not easy. And I can assure you, from any of you who are thinking, you know what, maybe it's time I deal with my childhood trauma. It's not easy. And it doesn't matter whether it is when those uncles used to come to our house, they would chase us into the room. And if they give us money, they'll take the money.
Yeah.
And therefore, I now have a funny relationship with money. Or something bigger. It doesn't matter whether it's small or big. It's going to be painful. Because imagine if you're having to address your relationship with money. Maybe because you're always hoarding it. You're always hiding it because you always had to hide the money when you were younger. So you're not getting the things you need. Yoruba say, "Tọ́jú àwọn ilé, kò tún tọ́jú ara ẹ̀." So you are not caring for people and you're not even caring for yourself because you're busy hoarding money.
Yeah.
So these are painful things that you have to, look into.
Okay. Yeah, that's a very good way to put it, Abby. Thank you very much. So we're going to be rounding up by just giving you a bit of a summary of what we've discussed. So it's majorly about challenging both positive and negative thoughts to be able to gain a stable mindset. So sometimes it could appear that you're doing this actively, but it's very important that we constantly reflect on how you're also doing this. We've mentioned different issues like childhood trauma, and everyone can connect to this, right? So the purpose of this is we just want everyone to try and take conscious efforts to challenge both positive and negative thoughts. Don't discard thoughts that come to your mind. They are there for some reasons.
Yeah.
So all you need to do is challenge them,
Deal with them.
understand why they are coming, and you get to know which one stays and which one you need to discard.
Exactly. Remember, it's not what happens to you, but your reaction that matters.
That matters. Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you very much for joining us this time. And till we meet again.
Yes.
This is Helen and this is Habi
Ali.
saying bye for now.
Bye. Thank you.